So welcome to a behavior scientist looking at Takopi's original sin, episode 2. Now, episode 1 I found very fascinating, in mostly in the way the storyline never really showed the bullying until the end of the episode, right? But for us, the viewer, we could recognize the patterns, right? And this is actually something that I have worked very heavily on. My second and third paper that I ever published was about pattern recognition, design patterns, like behavior patterns, right? So I found it speaks to me a lot personally, but I do find that from a writing standpoint, very good, right? How it was very obvious to me, the viewer, that, okay, like this woman clearly stepped on her, she got the head, that thing, oh, she got the backpack is broken, and so forth, right? But we never see that until, of course, Takopii, the alien, becomes her, right? But until that point, for the first 70-80% of the video right there, we don't know that, right? We don't actually know what's happening. Same thing with the poor dog called Chappy. We don't actually know that the dog is dead, but we can, as I said, infer that. We can assume that it's happening. That actually, I think from a general horror standpoint, is really interesting, right? Because it makes us, the viewer, probably feel worse, perhaps, actually seeing it, because we are imagining, right? We are imagining something that is worse. And it reminds me of, for example, if you compare literally a book, right, compared to an anime or a movie, whatever, or a game, is that in a book, right, you are imagining what is happening, and that is sometimes worse than what actually will be, in like a live action, what actually we visualize, right? And I mean, overall, right, horror movies, so forth, tend to be way less gruesome than the actual book is, right? Stephen King or whatever, the actual books are way worse than what they can show, right? So I think the first episode was very, very well done in that sense, that I felt that, I'm imagining all the stuff happening, so it feels way worse, it's very bullying, she's being massively assaulted, it's really gruesome, and then of course we have, obviously the dog died and so forth, right? And I guess that's going to happen. Now, secondly, what I really liked in the episode was how Takopii, of course, has no real understanding of it, and then also, implied, so to speak, right, that he doesn't get it whatsoever, but we can obviously understand the implication, what is happening. But that's a good take on it too, right? And now, lastly, what I think is interesting, and this is coming to the episode 2 here now, is that I think that, obviously it's called original sin, so I'm guessing that Takopii is gonna kill the girl, right? Because, he has never experienced pain before, and I think that's gonna be the motivation, right? Because the alien has never ever had anything bad happen to him. I keep saying it, but I think he's gonna snap, right? And it's coming back to the pattern thing, that he is just being overwhelmed by these negative emotions. He won't be able to handle that. Then he probably will take it out on, of course, Marina, and probably kill her. I guess it's gonna be the sin, right? Or perhaps her parents. But I can actually, I can imagine him killing them both. I wouldn't be surprised if the story likes into him murdering everyone that's mean to the main character, right? You know what I mean? Because he's an absolutist, perhaps. We haven't seen that with the alien yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes into what's called a Templar Knight trope. So that's the behavior, right? Which is a righteous behavior when someone is like, I am good. I am super good. So I'm going to kill everyone that is evil, right? And then usually, again, then it's called Templar Knight trope in movies and so forth. And it's a pretty common characterization, right, in anime and so forth too, right? We have a character that is arguably a good person, right? But then you see everything else as evil. Or not that's everything, but everything that is evil, they have to destroy, right? And it's very black and white worldview. And it wouldn't surprise me if this alien that again has never actually experienced pain or whatever right before will see everything as everything that's bad has to be destroyed right there. So I think that's kind of what he's gonna go into. That to me would make the most sense, because he's coming from a black and white world, right? He's coming from this white world. Everything is good. Everything, his planet is just super positive. His mom is go out and spread happiness, right? Yeah, he's coming from a world where everything is just positive. So he probably will see everything else as just having to be, eradicated. That's my guess. But I feel that's kind of obvious story implication where it's going, right? Secondly, I do think that I'm very I want to be like smug and say, oh, I'm obviously correct on this thing. But I feel that the general bullying, right, probably started with her father sleeping with Tezuka's mom, right? That seems to be kind of the indication of where it's going with. The episode ends with her mom is like, oh, he's out with that whore again, you know, goddamn that bitch, right? So that probably means that, you know, referring to the main character's mother. She's probably, sleeping with her dad, and that's why. And I guess that's kind of midway through episode 1, so maybe I'm wrong, but that to me seems like kind of obvious story aspect, right? Now, there was some other indications, though, from a Japanese culture standpoint, though. I don't know if that's true or not, but it is true, of course, that being on welfare or similar stuff like that, right, is not seen very positive in Japan. And this is very similar, for example, where I'm from Sweden and Norway and so on, I'm from Scandinavia, my parents know what I do, but it's like, this is actually a very common thing as well in Sweden and so on, is that being on welfare, right, from a perspective of Sweden, is very, very negative, right, because in a collectivistic society, like Japan, obviously, then, you have this idea, right, that yes, you pay taxes and so forth, but like costing the state money, it seems an embarrassment, right? So it is very common. When I grew up as a kid in Sweden, it was very common too, right, that the kid on welfare got bullied too, right? Because that's like, oh my god, the poor kid is ruining the country for everyone else, right? So that is a common thing in Japanese culture as well, that it is seen as a very negative thing, right, to be the kid on welfare. But we haven't really seen it's true or not, though. But she called her like, oh, welfare, poor kid, and so forth, right? So, but yeah, maybe her mom is like, has no job or whatever, and gets a kind of welfare, and that obviously would be an extra factor of why they have to bully her, right? Not of course, not every kid on welfare is bullied, but it definitely is a lot of cases of that. One side note that I want to say about the welfare, I think it's very interesting, is that back in the days in Sweden, when you had welfare, like child welfare, right? Like you have money per kid you have. People didn't used to, people would like reject getting the money, okay? There was also an embarrassment in the past to get welfare checks in Sweden, right? So they would reject the money even if they needed the money, okay? So single moms would like refuse to take the child welfare check because they felt so embarrassed about it, right, in the culture of Sweden. So what the government did was they enforced that everyone has to get welfare for children, regardless if you need the money or not. So that's been one of those situations where it's like, no, you have to give everyone money. And I think another, interesting idea people have now, right, is the whole DNA father check, right? A lot of people are, they want to have it that you have to have every kid DNA checked, right? So people are saying that, oh, that's going to cause, mistrust between the wife and the husband, right, or the couple or whatever. But I actually think that's completely insane to say that, because no, I think that would be exactly like I said, the welfare thing, if it's by law, right? If everyone has to do a DNA test, it wouldn't cause any mistrust between the couple, right? Because like it's enforced by law. So I think it can be the same thing there, that currently you don't want to go and ask for like a DNA check, because then it's like, oh, I think my wife probably is sleeping around, and so on. But if it's by law, no one can get angry at you, right? So I think if you want to have that, that should be probably the same result, right? Because no one now really that much, right, is embarrassed about getting welfare then for children, because you can't refuse it, right? But that's kind of a way to get around that. But anyway, let's get to episode 2. So yeah, teacher is terrible person, we know that. Yeah, it's like giving you the wise. Cheating. Looks at the girl being like, she's cheating somehow. It's pretty easy math though. Chappy! I am obviously afraid the poor dog will die here. We probably will have an episode where we see the dog getting murdered visually by the girl, right? But I could imagine her maybe like pushing the dog off us. Yeah, I'm gonna guess, right, that the dog, I have a hard time seeing her killing dog with like with violence, right? I think that she probably pushed the dog off like a bridge or something, into a train, into a car or something. That's what I imagine, right? I don't think that she would like beat the dog to death or something. That's kind of hard for a girl to do to a 9-year-old. Maybe so Chappy dies. He bites the alien. He goes crazy. No, he likes the alien, right? Yeah, but this will be dark if Takopii now kills him later on because of anger. Oh my god. So this might be a thing here, right? That her dad left them, and that's probably why her mom, like I said earlier, might be on welfare. Because overall in Japan, of course, women tend to be stay-at-home moms, right? You know, if they get married and so on. So yeah, very likely her mom didn't have a job, right? Dad leaves, and then she needs to get some kind of welfare check to, you know, get by, right? So that's probably why. But is that she dies? Yeah. But I wonder if it's like Erseer or something, you know. Obviously I love Erseer because one of the animes have a Ren figure next to me here. I wonder if it's like Erseer where, you know, he has like different save points. Yeah, Chappy's alive yet. Oh, here we go. So Chappy will die. Man, they're really good at making the girl look evil. Look at her staring at them. You would almost imagine she isn't a human. She's a kind of monster orphan horror king. Yeah, this seems... I don't want to see this thing. This feels like when Chappy's gonna die now. Exactly, a parasite like you. She calls her a slut right because her mom is like, yeah. I don't want to see Chappy dying, man. I don't want to see Chappy dying. Keep away the... Oh, this might be when she kills her because Chappy defends her, right? Oh, this is how she gets it? Oh, of course, she's gonna lie. That's how Chappy dies then? Lies about the dog, of course. Oh, he didn't die then, maybe they just took him. Actually, I'm a little happy. Honestly, I'm a little happy, okay, guys? Honestly, I feel a little relieved. I thought she killed the dog. This is, I mean, sure. I mean, she's still lying, and obviously the dog then will probably put death right. So, I mean, indirectly, she is killing the dog eventually. She still is like killing the dog, of course. But yeah, this scene, honestly, it I have to say it actually is less dark than I thought it was gonna be. I thought she would, you know, like push the dog off into a car or something, off a bridge into a train or whatever, right? Drown the dog. I don't know. I imagine her like murdering dog is cold blood, right? This is, of course, more intelligent by her though. She's like, you know, attacking Shizuka. The dog, of course, protects her, and then she's just like, "Oh no, the dog is crazy. He got rabies. You know, you gotta put it down, right?" So yeah, she gets the society to put it down here, of course. So the dog will still die though. But honestly, I genuinely expected it to be way more visual. I expected it to be way more visual. That was happening. But perhaps maybe it was another way it happened the first time loop. But I don't think so. This stuff, of course, obviously from just like her physical strength standpoint makes the most sense. She would have to use like an adult, right, to get the dog, to kill the dog, because like I said earlier, she is, yeah, like she's a 9-year-old, like she can just kill the dog easily. So I like it in that sense. What is a little bit weird though with this anime, and that might be my only critique of the anime so far, right, is that it does feel a little bit like too much that you probably would figure out that she's like an insane bully and she's like trying to kill this poor girl or something, or almost like, you know what I mean? Because it's kind of like, okay, if this was the first time they ever had a conflict, and this girl is like, oh no, her dog attacked me for no reason, you have to put it down, right? Then that probably happened, right? But like I said in the episode 1 as well, right, that is a little bit my conservative anime. I like the anime overall, but this is a little bit weird where like the teachers, you know, wouldn't help her when she's like, oh, they don't help me anyway and so on. This is a little bit like that again, where it's like, well, wouldn't this village probably know that she's a crazy evil girl by now? It's a little bit like that. We see how it goes, but I feel a little bit like, I wonder in reality if this actually would happen. I wonder if it'd be that easy for a girl to trick people to kill. I mean, there are, of course, probably some examples of it, but I'm just imagining that she got like a law. Yeah, it's like the 20th time she attacks this girl, right? So you probably would be like, nah, I don't know about this. A little bit like that. But yeah, she takes Chappy, of course. It absolutely makes more sense. And he, of course, had no idea what's happening. Obviously, the alien has like zero understanding of like arrest or whatever. I mean, I'm sure in his homeworld they probably don't have jails, right? He has. Yeah, this makes sense. He doesn't even have a crime in his whole planet. Okay, maybe it gets worse now then. Maybe I jumped the gun. Maybe it gets worse. Okay, so he like just avoids Marina. She's so evil, she fights them! She got some power of evilness. Oh god, she just like fights them anyway. Okay. How did she even fight them? Is she just lurking around? Does she? Is there another alien helping her or something? Oh god, what is this shit? She keeps fighting them. Actually, this seems kind of weird. Honestly, this seems really weird. Yeah, this to me seems very, very strange, right? I don't know exactly where the anime go with this thing, but it absolutely feels like there's something else happening here. I mean, obviously, she's just like, according to Kakura, right? She's like, I want to kill the dog. So she clearly, you know, her goal is obviously to kill the dog, and she goes around trying to get into a fight with the dog so she can get the dog put down. I mean, obviously. But it seems to be like, just like Takopii is saying, how can't I avoid her? He's been, what? They've done like 10 loops now, and he's trying to pick different paths in the city, you know what I mean? Literally different paths. And she keeps like finding them. So, I don't know. Maybe the anime has another level of mystery, right? To me, I'm starting to feel that there is someone else helping her. I don't want to spoil other animes, but I'll give a warning then, because I'm thinking about it now. So, Tokyo Revengers, okay, spoiler warnings, Tokyo Revengers, okay, bam. Tokyo Revengers, obviously, if you've heard about it, it is also a time looping anime to bring it up. The main character, right, Takemichi, he goes back and forth in time, save his girlfriend Hina and all this stuff, right? Of course, there's spoilers, as I said earlier. It is revealed, of course, that he's not the only time traveler, right? I haven't seen this final anime, but I've seen up to the anime, so now in the anime. And in the ending of the last season, it's basically confirmed that someone else was time traveling and helping the bad guys, right? And that is why some of his plans doesn't work. Even if he knows kind of what's going to happen, the other time traveler is ruining his plans, you know what I mean? And that's kind of how this feels here. But maybe this is just something else. Maybe she's just very intelligent. Maybe she's just tracking them. She's like following them, perhaps. But it certainly feels a little bit like it is teasing that someone else is helping her to, you know, navigate wherever they go. She always finds them. I mean, I guess that if this happening, it would be another alien, right? We know there are aliens with time powers or whatever. So another alien might helping her instead, for some reason. And obviously he had this weird comment in episode 1 about how his planet is like, you can't go back there for some reason. So, yeah, maybe she's her own alien. But, yeah, maybe there's like a lot of mystery on top of this now then. Because this seems really weird. She's saying like, oh, that worked great, my plan is perfect. Well, I guess maybe she's not around like crazy. It was worth it. Yeah, maybe I'm just overthinking it. Maybe I'm just really overthinking it. Because maybe she's just really good at finding them. But to me, it felt like she was cheating also with... okay, maybe I just overthought it there. But still, though, I still think it could be more aliens anyway, because he's obviously not the only alien, right? Hopefully it is the alien can understand now that it's because the dog is lost, so she dies. It's kind of... should be obvious to him. Oh, the rope here? Oh. You see like the rope, the snare from the... yeah. I will save Chappy. It's so dark, man. Do you see that the rope is over her head there? Yeah. Oh, this anime is so dark. Oh god, Jesus Christ! But this anime's visual is just... yeah, it truly is a viewer discussion. Is advice anime, absolutely. Okay. Well, this might be why maybe he goes and kills Marina. Oh, it's the dog is alive, but I guess mom sends it to her. Okay. Okay, actually, I really like this. I really like this. Yeah, I want to say I like this anime a lot, okay? It's really well written. It's really, really well written. This is a really fantastic scene, honestly, because I said it earlier, right? And I'm not going to edit it out because the way I do videos is I always keep my stupid comments left, you know, because I want to be an honest person, right? Is that, like 5 minutes ago in the episode, I felt that, like I said, maybe the anime has an issue because it's like, it feels unrealistic to me that this girl can keep lying about everything and no one will care about it, right, and so on. So I really, really like this scene. This is very well written, obviously now then, because, her dad gets the dog instead, right, yeah. So the dog doesn't get put out, instead it's sent away, live with the other family. Yeah, this is just really great, right? It is, otherwise, we will be in the situation where it feels like the whole society is against her for no reason, except that, obviously she can be bullied by a girl, right? She can be bullied by a classmate and so forth. But like I said, if it keeps being in the society, no one ever takes her side, then it would be kind of ridiculous, right? But this is, even though she loses a dog now, okay, obviously. Even if the dog is removed from her, the dog is not put down. Her mom is like, okay, the dog, you might get a dog back one day. Maybe if you move to your dad, you can be with the dog or so on. Right? Yeah, this is so much more realistic. So it's incredibly well written. I'm really, really happy. I keep saying it, but I'm very, very happy how this scene actually played out, right? Because it just makes it feel so much more real. And for a 9-year-old, of course, she's bullied. She has no other friends in her life. The dog is the only thing she has in her life, right? If you take her dog, she might delete herself, you know what I mean? And it also actually might be that from a grown-up standpoint, maybe she can get the dog back, in a short time. Maybe she can go live with her dad in the future or whatever. Maybe her mom is like, okay, this is terrible, I send you getting bullied, I'm gonna send you back to send you to your dad, live with your dad, whatever. So that might be what her mom and dad is planning, right? We don't know that, but I'm thinking from a 9-year-old perspective, from her, behavior, she might be like, oh, my life is over, I'll never get my dog back, I'm gonna, delete myself, right? Because she can't understand the nuance of what her parents are doing, right? Maybe. I'm just throwing it out there, but that actually might be the case, right? And this usually is why you have to be communicative, right, with your child, right, and also with your but especially with children. A big issue, right, that a lot of parents has is that they are not communicating with their kids, right. I think the kids are too stupid to understand the reasoning, whatever. Right? But normally in these kind of cases, in real life, and I've seen cases in life, unfortunately, is that it is much better being very clear with your child, right? Telling your child that, okay, your dog is gonna be at your father's place, okay, but you can visit him every weekend, right? Or maybe you wanna live with your dad or whatever, but being very clear with that instead of. It feels right now like her parents, you know what I mean, are kind of like planning something like that. You can visit dog or whatever, but she's not being very, concise with it. She's being like, oh, don't worry about it, honey, it will be fine, And this is a massive issue a lot of parents have. You shouldn't like overshare to your kids. You shouldn't tell them that, oh, we have no money, so we can't, whatever. Yeah, you shouldn't tell them that, It depends, but normally no. You shouldn't like overshare those issues. But on the same time, if you have like a solution, whatever, right, for your child, you just tell them that, yeah, oh, but don't worry, you can visit Chappy next Saturday, you know what I mean? It's only 3 days left or whatever, yeah. It feels now that, for her, of course, losing her dog is the worst thing ever, and then she, again, did herself, right? And it feels like maybe, obviously life is terrible, but maybe it wasn't that bad, right? Maybe her mom actually had like a solution, yeah. Maybe her mom actually had somewhat of a decent solution for the situation, right? After her dog bit the girl, right? But also, hopefully we get more into, and I'm sure of it, we will see more about her parents, but it does feel like, how do I say it? From her mom's perspective, at this situation, her mom probably has only 2 options, right? Either the dog is put down, right, by, like the vet or whatever, or the dog lives with her ex-husband, right? The mom probably can't, from like a legal standpoint, probably easily can't have the dog left with her house, you know what I mean? Because the way she can excuse it, saying that, oh, my daughter is taking a dog or whatever, right? But now she can't say it anymore, because now she's like, oh, my daughter is, that failed. So, yeah, so from her mom's perspective, this might be the only solution to keep the dog alive, right? So it's very important, I think, to understand, okay, but from the different character perspective, right? And this is, unfortunately, I keep saying, in real life, what a lot of people misunderstand, right, is that if you actually would communicate more clear with your daughter, saying that, oh, but he can't live with us anymore, I'm sorry about that, but, your dad can keep him, and we can go there every weekend, or this thing, or that thing, or whatever, right? She maybe wouldn't delete herself, right, it is, I'm getting sad thinking about it, I gotta tell you, yeah, but it's very fortunate that in real life, a lot of people have similar issues where they, again, her life is of course terrible, but it's like, it's not as terrible perhaps as she is imagining. Because obviously for her, as a 9-year-old, that this is my life ending here, yeah, like this is the worst thing that could ever happen, and there's no reversing it, right? And let's see about time traveling. But anyway, let's keep going. But yeah, that was a very good scene. I just really like how it made the mom and her dad and so on not be incredibly terrible parents. Probably not, but yeah, less terrible than you would imagine about it. Oh, so it's the dad's dog? Oh, that makes even more sense. The mom doesn't even like the dog. Well, she's smashing the dad, right? So, yeah. Exactly. I have to. Mom is like, I have to apologize to her father, you know, personally. My God, her mom is a little bit of. Yeah, okay. That is a little bit actually. Oh no, her mom is like, I'm gonna go and personally take care of her father. Don't worry about that. Yeah, okay. But it does seem strange that she cannot save Chappy though. I keep wondering if my early theory is correct though, that you know, there's something happening to her, right? Another time traveling here. Because yeah, he's like, I failed many times now saving Chappy, however I do it. This is annoying. I somewhat hate Alien, of course, he's super annoying. Like punching him with the bread. He's like, eat this bread, yeah, stop being sad, girl, eat your stupid bread, yeah, eat this pun. It is hard not to hate this alien though, yeah, he's super annoying. She's gonna be bullied now because everyone blames her, right, for Marina. Even though everyone probably knows that Marina is the worst person ever, that's how it feels. But she has her, she got her like, you know, like cult members. Like, yeah, I suppose so. Here she is. Oh god, she's such a mean little girl. It's like, yeah. Oh god, she's so evil. This girl is pure evil, man. Yeah. So I think the guy interesting. He seems to actually be the only one nice to her right there. Yeah. So he's maybe gonna help her here. Yeah, this is interesting. He's the one trying to be nice to her. So he's like this. He gets interesting. He's like the only person being nice to Suka, right? He likes her. Yeah, he's like the hero here. Yes, this character might be the. He's in the opening as well, so he might be like the rescue of her because she has no friends, right? And her dog is gone. But he's actually trying to be nice to her. He's probably likes her. So that could be her like safe and not deleting herself if she gets like a boyfriend or something. You know, she get like a first real friend or whatever. Yeah, I find this guy interesting. Yeah, like I keep saying, right? I hope he's not gonna betray her. I hope he's not trying to like, you know, planning something out. But I don't think so because all the other girls kind of are mean to him too, right? They kind of dismissed him. So I do think it is that, you know, he's actually trying to nice Suka. So he might be the beacon of light, right? If she actually befriends this guy, then like I said, she might not delete herself. She might stay, you know, having her first friend or whatever. Maybe he has friends, right? So she can like hang out with them or something. But I do think that the general issue for her, though, like I said in episode 1, I think the same thing applies here again, is that she is probably avoiding him because she's trying to protect him from being bullied, right? So I think that's a very common thing with people that are bullied at school and also whatever, and so on, but especially with children, is that she, even though she probably wants his help, right, she doesn't want to openly say that because then it thinks that the girls are gonna beat him and bully him as well, right? She feels that if she asks him for help officially, you know, he will also be in trouble, right? This is a very common issue with children, and it's also very common that children might not ask their parents for help as well, right? If they are afraid that their parents also will get an issue, right? Especially if it's like a complicated situation where it's like, you know, the bully's dad knows their dad or whatever and so forth. So I think that's what's happening here. She's actually, she doesn't want his help because she's trying to protect him, probably. Yeah, so they probably start bullying him, right? They're like, yeah, screw him, he's a loser too. This might be that she's like, the poor girl. Why didn't he time travel back before the dog was taken, man? Man, alien's useless. Yeah, goes back in time, bro. This alien is really stupid, though. I always say that by now he should understand that it's because the dog is gone, though. He's like, why is she? Are you hungry? Oh no, this feels like she's gonna kill her now in the 4 or something. Maybe she just kills her. Yeah, maybe that's also a loop where she just murders her. Yeah, Chappy was so cute. Man, she's like the most evil little girl ever in anime history. It's like, I hate the alien, is so terrible. They're gonna be friends now. Or maybe she's gonna murder her. Yeah, maybe. Oh my god, it's like the opening. Oh, I hate this. Yeah, exactly. They're gonna be besties now. This anime is so terrible that it has this like the most stupidest character ever. The most naive character ever being. Jesus Christ. To say I'm always getting this weird vibe that they're gonna go into some R-ing stuff here. I don't know, but the reason I think about it yesterday after I made the first video, right? So the way I work is that I'm working in 3 major projects. That's the main thing. But I work with a bunch of scientists, the rich and so forth, right? And we have a lot of meetings, right? Where someone like summons you to give advice or whatever. Okay, so you sit for 4 hours and we talk about this case or whatever, right? So you learn a lot about these cases. And for example, I was involved in a recent thing last year, interesting, about München by proxy. That's like a new thing, right? Even we heard about it for many years. There was many cases. That was actually one of the first cases in the country where that was like an actual like verdict. Okay, this mom is like München by proxy, which of course is when you're hurting your own kid, right, to get attention and so on, which is a very real thing and very sad and so on. So, like I said yesterday, I do feel when I see these kind of scenes, right? I unfortunately have read and been involved in some cases, and so forth, when it definitely is into this kind of thing, right, where a girl will, use another girl for sexual stuff, right? And like I said yesterday, I won't get too much here because of YouTube, if anything. But what usually happens is that the girl will get grown-up men, right? Yeah, that's a common thing, unfortunately, in real life. It's very unusual that you have like one girl arguing another girl, right? That is very, very unusual. Those cases are almost unheard of. I have seen a few of those. Super rare. Of course, you can go and Google them and you can find them. They're existing, right? But like per country, whatever, yeah, super uncommon. What is much more uncommon is, of course, I mentioned yesterday briefly, is that you have one girl, right, having maybe her boyfriend, an adult, her father sometimes, an uncle, right? You know what I mean? But kind of like that, and then they are abusing the other girl, right? That actually is pretty common, unfortunately, when you go into this massive level of bullying. And the reason why, right, I'm going to talk about it here, but it is a very common issue, actually, because, like defiling the other woman's innocence, right, is seen as like kind of the ultimate thing, right? But the women themselves doesn't want to do it, right? Yeah, women don't want to do it. So it very rarely happens. If you have, for example, 2 boys, right, 2 men, one of the guys or the other guy, also uncommon, of course, but much, much more common, right? Much, much more common. So I think the most common situation with this thing, though, is that, like I said earlier, you have a boyfriend, right? So it's like 3 teenagers, and it's like this one girl bullying the other girl, right? That she has her boyfriend arguing her or something. That is probably the most common case. These girls, of course, are too young for that, probably, in this context here. But around that, yeah, like senior high school kind of thing, that is probably the most common thing, actually, when it gets into like really high level of like hardcore sinister bullying from one woman to another in this thing. And actually, it's, yeah, honestly, a pretty high percentage of it, because usually you don't even, if you get into like physical stuff, right? I hope a point makes sense here, but the thing is that women, girl on girl bullying is very rarely physical to begin with. Okay, that's probably, sorry, I'm a little familiar blood. Women bullying women, very, very rarely than physical violence, super uncommon, right? Sexual violence probably even more common, yeah. So things that, boys, men, whatever, right? Physical violence, much more common. That's the primary thing, right? Like social media bullying, whatever, mental bullying, so on, less common, right? The punch, men are more like, the punch, right? So women, of course, are much more ostracizing, bullying them, name calling, right? Obviously now then social media bullying, right? Incredibly common, right? And so forth. Obviously that's kind of where it goes these days, right? Incredibly common. So when a girl is using physical violence on another girl, that basically that already is extremely uncommon. Yeah, then you're very, very uncommon. And I would dare to say that I think that one woman bullying another woman with sexual violence is probably actually more common than physical violence, purely physical violence. That's kind of what I mean, right? Because by defiling her with sexual stuff, that's like I really own you now. You use my. She keeps calling her slut and so on. So I guess I kind of go to the details of that. They are of course very young here, but yeah, like getting her boyfriend or whatever to use her, right? That would be like the most. Honestly, I think that is a more common case. Like I said, right? Instead of beating her up, you will have like I will beat. Yeah, you have to sleep with my boyfriend, or I will beat. Yeah, that feels more common, honestly, in case I've seen. Anyway, long talk about that terrible topic, but That's why when I keep seeing them in this kind of situation, like, oh, let's go into the forest together. This is where a lot of stuff happening. But let's see. I wonder if this happened because, again, they are probably too young to have the kind of storyline. It would be really, really dark. But I could see it. I would guess like she's, using another character to do it then, of course. Breaking up and so on. Yeah, her mom obviously beats her. That's super obvious. Like, yeah, we know that. Yeah, so her mom beats her up, right? And she takes it out on Shizuka. Is he dead, though? I wonder that, though. He did say that the dad was gonna get it, though. He's not dead! He's not dead! Chappy is not dead. Did her mom lie, maybe? Maybe her mom lied. That'd be an interesting story bit if her mom actually lied to her. Yeah, maybe. Maybe? I don't know, yeah. Don't she have a dad, though? But I think because mom was like, it's your dad's dog, right? But of course she's just like, she might be lying. I hope she's lying, but yeah, unfortunately the poor girl doesn't know the truth here, though. He probably will freak out now and kill her, so I'm waiting for it. Oh, that should be like tax money. Welfare girl! Well, yeah, her dad is smashing her mom, right? Exactly, it's my dad paying for your stuff, your mom is, oh yeah, okay. But yeah, she really takes out her dad sleeping with her mom is of course the main, her anger. Yeah, her mom is a hooker, I mean, I guess that's correctly, but that was obvious from us. Maybe he become Chappy and kill her as a dog or something. That would be dark. I kind of hope he does it now. He turns into the Chappy and bites her as Chappy. That would be bad. Okay, we'll see what happens then. He's gonna punch. I think he's gonna turn into a dog. He's right in this thing. He just punches her with the camera! That's all, he just kills her with the camera? He just like smacks her? Wait, what? I guess? I think he will kill her though. That's what I kind of guess was happening anyway. But like, he just smacked her with the camera or something. What? He's like, yeah, okay. That's all. Maybe he's really strong. Maybe the little alien is actually really strong. He just don't know it because he never fought anyone. Oh, he doesn't even know what death is. He doesn't even know what death is. He kills the little girl. He doesn't even know. Yeah, he can't control his power, right, clearly. So I don't think he meant to actually kill her. He just doesn't have any understanding of physical strength, right? Oh, the camera is broken, so he can't go back in time again. Of course, she's so happy now. You killed her. I'm so happy. Finally, it's over. Yeah, he kissed the girl. I'm more surprised from a story aspect. What I want to talk about now, though, so I want to be controversial here, right? But I think a lot of people, and this is why I stand by saying that I don't like most other, YouTubers, right? And right? I think they are gonna cherish this moment, right? They're gonna be happy. They're gonna act like Suga did. They're gonna scream in joy or whatever, right? This is why I find most people so despicable. I'm not happy that this is seen at all, right? It gives me no pleasure seeing this little girl getting murdered by the alien, right? It gives me zero pleasure. Of course, I said it would be kind of cool if it turned into the dog. It would be like a visual interesting scene, but it's not a good thing, right? And I have not seen a single other person's reaction to this anime, so I don't want to get spoiled. I want to check out some people after my own videos here. But I keep imagining, because I know a few YouTubers, right, and I know them very well. I mean, I can imagine that they share being like, oh yeah, you go alien, kill the little girl. I can imagine them sitting there being all happy, right, and that disgusts me. And I honestly, I'm so sure of my point here that I don't even have to watch their videos. I still know a bunch of people that are gonna react exactly like that, right? It is kind of despicable. I really want to bring it up, right? It is despicable to be happy that this Marina here, this girl, gets killed by the alien. You shouldn't be happy about this, right? She's a horrible bully, but she obviously is also a kid, you know what I mean? So it's, it's really sad. But I think people's affecting that really sad too, right? You have to have your own. This is why the world is terrible. No, but seriously, right? Because okay. Let's try to break this down a bit here. The episode's soon over, but let's try to break it down a bit here before we keep going. I think it's very important. It's like, how would you solve this thing in reality if you had to actually try to solve this thing, right? Where you have one girl being so massively bullied, right? Well, you probably would like execute the little girl doing the bullying. That's one thing, right? I really don't believe in justify the means. That's kind of where I'm coming from, right? From like any kind of like moralic standpoint, you should just kill other people that disagree with you, so to speak, right? But how would you actually like solve this thing then? Well, obviously her mother and her dad, then, right? They have this thing going on. That's the real thing, right? This girl, as we saw there, she's being beaten up by her mom, right? So it's just kind of like the typical bandage. I mean, vanity. If we know the truth here, I suppose with the viewer, we know enough at least, right? The real issue would be like to not have this girl live with her mom, right? Yeah, that would be the first issue, right? If she doesn't have to be with her evil mom and beats her up every day, she wouldn't beat the other girl up, right? So if anything, you should kill the mom instead. That's not saying it. No, but seriously, that probably actually would be better. But it's just like, yeah, it's not to like excuse terrible bullying, but I think we also have to remember that the girl is supposed to be 9, right? Yeah, I think we have to remember that this girl is supposed to be very, very young herself, and we have an ethical system where we don't punish children at a certain age, right? Now that being said, you should be very clear here. I do think you should be able to have, teenagers, right, being punished for crime or whatever. Obviously, I'm not saying that you have to be like 35 or else you can't get convicted for a crime or something, right? Absolutely not. But these guys are definitely in that like younger brackets where like they're too young to basically understand what they're doing, right? She has a horrible life too. She barely can understand what she's doing in that sense, right? And you probably could actually like redeem her, so to speak, right? You probably could like give her a new home, a better parent, right? And she could actually grow up to be like not an evil person later on when she's grown up, whatever. But sure, she's like the most evil little 9-year-old ever. So it is a bit. I understand in that context, and I do agree with that. It is a very nuanced scene because she is basically like, I mean, I've seen like a lot of animes in my life. She is probably like the most evil little girl ever in anime. Like Jesus Christ. So I can understand in that sense that people would be like, oh yeah, screw this little girl, yeah, F her and kill her quickly. But obviously, it's not the right way to do it. And I feel that it is interesting writing, though. I think that's also true in the sense that obviously the alien here doesn't understand. This is what I mean, though. This is why it's well written, because the alien doesn't, of course, understand how to say it, right? Not only doesn't he understand his own strength, right, from a pure physical standpoint, he's never been into a fight before. He obviously comes from this like perfect paradise planet, so he doesn't understand what like a fight is. So he just killed her in one punch. He didn't understand that he would time her, right? That's obviously one thing. But it's also that the alien, I think it's very, very well written, because Takopi, he basically represents, right, the people that I find despicable, right, online, that are gonna share this moment, right? Because the alien, he represents this, as I said in the video, black and white contextualization, right? Where he's either you're a good person or I kill you, right? Of course he did it by accident, but his brain is kind of working like that, where he's just kind of like, well, either you're a happy person or you're a bad person, right? Yeah, there's no in between. So he's like, I have to stop her. I just punch her with all my power. He has no holdback. He has no nuance to his take, right? So that's why he solves everything. It's kind of typical saying, right? Like if you only have a hammer, every solution is a nail. You have to punch it with your hammer. You can't do anything else because you only have a hammer, right? And that's kind of how he acts. And like I said, people that would love this scene, they have, I guess, a hammer mentality where they just want to smack it down as hard as they can, right? It doesn't really solve the issue. And also, for that matter, I mean, it'll solve the issue because now, I don't know if she's gonna get convicted for this thing, or they're gonna think that she should kill her. Seems doubtful, but I mean, yeah. But even if she wouldn't, things that I have seen, I haven't been involved in those things, I haven't worked with that, but I read many cases where they actually do kill the perpetrator, they do kill the bully and so on, right? The problem with that also is that they still get bullied massively, yeah. Because usually then everyone else in school will hate them, you know what I mean? All her friends will think that Shizuki is a raging lunatic, right? So that also is an issue with this thing itself from a general like society standpoint. Everyone else will think that you are like crazy or whatever, right? Even though I myself have beaten up a lot of bullies in my life, so yeah, that's like crazy. I have a lot of stories. Don't get me wrong. I have a lot of stories, guys, where I use self-defense to take care of bullies, right? But that's what I mean. You have to be kind of restrained about it, right? You have to be restrained about it, right? If someone has to punch you, break their arm, you don't sort of kill them. So it is an interesting case, but from a solution standpoint, where I started with, sorry I come in for that long angle here. From a solution standpoint, right? The solution is making this poor girl move away from her parents, right? Maybe living with her dad. I don't know. Her dad seems to be like distant and fighting with the mom, or whatever, right? But what we have seen so far, her father is like neglecting her, but not really being mean to her, right? He's just out smashing Suka's mom, whatever. So maybe just having her live with her dad would just be like, just divorcing her mom, just live with her dad was enough for her to actually be like not a mean person anymore. She also seems to be very focused on loving her father more than her mom, right? Which also I guess makes sense because she's like, her mom beats her up, so obviously she probably prefer her father regardless. But I think mostly though, what that comes from, and this is a very classic behavior issue people have, right, is that when it comes to parenting, right, and our parents has like a divorce or whatever, a lot of kids tend to like the parent that leaves them more than the parent that keeps them, right? Which seems really weird because if, let's say her mom was a normal, nice mother, didn't beat her up, she was just a normal moment. A lot of children at a time, they will take their mother for granted, right? Their mom is still the one that takes care of them, feeds them, and so on. But she's like, yeah, whatever, my mom is my mom, right? But my dad that left me, he's the one I actually want love for. I want his acknowledgement, and so on. That's a very common issue, right? The people that actually are more craving from the parent, usually the father, of course, that leaves them, right? That they want their approval and so on, right? And this is kind of what she's going through as well. That she feels that her dad, abandoning her mother because of, I guess, Suka's mom primarily, right? And then you also have the monetary bit as well there too. She's like, my mom paid for your clothes because your mom is a whore or whatever. But I don't know if that's true. Her mom did say she had to go to work, so I guess her mom is a prostitute. But I don't know. I mean, it does feel a little bit like maybe her mom is just sleeping with the guy without being paid. I don't know. Maybe she's just a straight up prostitute. It wasn't a quirky weirdo. She's like, I have to take care of it. Don't worry, I will talk to her father. Personal, we did talking about. But let's finish the episode. I think it's like 3 minutes left. She's all happy now. She's totally dead, right? Yeah, she's totally dead. And the camera is broken, so you can't go back in time. Maybe it's not together to time travel though. Yeah. Sugoi! Yeah, she. This song. Oh my god, he's like killing people now. Look how happy she is. Yeah, now he's gonna be like, I have to kill everyone now. This is gonna inspire the alien guy to kill everyone now. He's gonna be like, oh, that's how I get happiness. Her reaction is normal though. She's a 9-year-old, so she's like, oh, this solves everything. Yeah, it's like she doesn't really care about the consequences of killing someone. Yeah, she's just like, are you sure of this? I think she's dead. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, arigato! You're my hero! Yeah, it's so great for killing her. That was awesome. Okay, yeah, so now we can't use time traveling. It's like no do-overs. But Chappy is still gone though, maybe. Yeah, Yeah, let's review it. I think her course reaction makes perfectly sense, right? From her standpoint, this is perfectly logical. Her bullied, got taken out. She hated her, of course. She's just a kid, so she doesn't really think about the consequence of the body or whatever. She's like, yeah, let's leave, this is awesome. Chappy will maybe come back or whatever, so her reaction makes sense, right? Now, like I said, I think Takopii probably will kill more people from this thing, right? If he wants to make her happy, and if she gets happy by him killing people, he will probably get more. Maybe he will get her mom, maybe the teacher, maybe the other mom, and so on. I am definitely interested to see what's going to happen in the next episode, though. Because without the bully girl, who's going to be mean to her in that sense? I don't think this anime will go into a topic, right, of like law or something. She has to go to court or something. I mean, that might happen a little bit, but I really doubt that. I really doubt it's going to be like, next episode, Suki is in court. It wasn't me, it was the alien. Yeah, I really don't think that's gonna happen, right? That'd be a really weird story bit, and also honestly kind of uninteresting to watch, honestly. Yeah, I'll be disappointed that that's gonna be a big part of it, but it might be a little bit part of it. Maybe the cops will arrest her or talk to her and so on, right? But it'd probably be hard to even prove that she killed him because he actually didn't do it, whatever. But I mean, it might be a story bit, but I have a hard time seeing that being the main thing. What I think is gonna happen, right, is like I said earlier, is that she will still probably be bullied by the other girls, right? The other girls that also bullied her before. Sure, Marina was the main bully, but she was still bullied by like 4 or 5 other girls, and the teacher ignored that and so forth, right? And they're gonna blame her for her death or whatever, so they will also probably be really mean to her. So I don't think it's gonna stop the bullying. That'd be my first guess. Secondly, I do think that Marina will be alive eventually in the storyline. It just seems to me that I honestly, maybe I'm just wish for thinking here, but I do kind of think they're gonna end up as friends. Like the opening. No, but I do think that they're gonna end up with something like that. It feels to me like I said earlier, the solution is kind of like helping her life as well, right? She's also having a bad life, and obviously she doesn't like should take it out on another girl. Was the reason I'm not saying that. I'm not defending her actions, but I'm just saying that her mom is mean, right, and so on. So it feels more like if Chappy goes further back in time and maybe like saves her from her evil mom or something, and it can make both girls happy or something, that would be kind of the ultimate solution, right? Like a further back time traveling. So that might happen. Now, this is other element to it as well, right? Maybe I'm just completely guessing it because it felt like she was very good at that. But to me earlier, it of course felt like someone else was also time traveling. So that could be an instant twist to it. That they are happy now. Takopii is happy. Oh, I fixed that. I killed that girl. That's great. And in episode 3, she's back again. Because another alien or whatever, right, is saving her instead. Because why not, right? He might not be able to time travel. But what if another alien, another octopus alien, has the power to time travel, and they are working for Marina for some reason, right? They will then time travel back. So I have to say that I feel it's even more likely now. Yeah, I was thinking about it before, of course, that okay, it feels like it's more than one time traveler. And now when she's dead here, and like I said, I don't really buy that she will stay dead. I used to not really buy that whatsoever. But of course, maybe he has other gadgets that he can revert it as well, right? But yeah, that to me would make a lot of... That would not surprise me if someone else revives her, someone else time travels, and then it keeps going. It'd also be interesting if she doesn't actually time travel. I mean, it really depends on... This anime has opened up for these really weird gadgets, like flying gadget, time traveling gadget, rope gadget. So perhaps another alien will have the power just to revive her, and it wouldn't be time traveling then, but it just keep going, right? So you're like, oh, she died, but nothing has changed. Remember, her memories are gone, or something, whatever. But that also could be a thing. So they're both next episode maybe surprised. Oh, she's back. But we killed her next episode, yeah. I don't know, but I just really doubt she will die, like actually die, you know, it's like permanently die. Otherwise. I'm interested in going into that her classmate again. Yeah, the boy. We saw him saving her there, right? He's been very... maybe it's gonna be about him otherwise, yeah. Next episode. Because we see him a little bit in the opening. We see him try to save her there, right? So I do feel he's gonna have a storyline too. And in the opening, there's like his brother probably someone. So I think we're gonna go into his family otherwise. He also has to have a part of this. And I wouldn't surprise me if his family is someone also linked to their parents, right? Maybe his brother, dad, whatever, is smashing her mom. I just feel it's gonna be entwined somehow. I'm guessing that most of the opening, I suppose, but I feel it's gonna be some kind of entwinement of these characters. But anyway, that's the video, guys. Like and subscribe, press the like button, right? And obviously, the video will be super long, so I appreciate that. It will take me probably hours to edit this video now, so it'll take me a long time here to go over it. So I see you guys and have a great day.